What if the world told you no 12 times, and you still chose to believe in yourself? She was broke, battling depression, and raising a child alone. Society saw her as a failure. Publishers saw no potential. But she saw magic. Dizzy. This isn't just a story about J.K. Rowling, it's a mirror for every dreamer who's ever been told they're not good enough. Because sometimes, the darkest tunnels lead to the brightest castles. Castle. If you've ever doubted your worth, if your dreams have been laughed at or ignored, this story will remind you why you should never stop believing. Not in luck, not in others, but in yourself.
What if the world told you your dream was worthless? Not once, not twice, but 12 times. This is the story of a single mother living on welfare with nothing but an idea that would one day build an empire. This is the story of how rejection became the secret ingredient to one of the greatest success stories of all time. The rock bottom. To understand the height of her success, we must first journey to the depths of her despair. It's the early 1990s. Joanne Rowling finds herself in a situation that many would call a complete failure. Her marriage had ended, she was jobless, a single mother trying to raise her daughter with barely any money, relying on government assistance to survive. She was, in her own words, as poor as it is possible to be in modern Britain without being homeless. And on top of it all, she was battling clinical depression, a darkness that made even thinking about the future feel impossible. This wasn't just a difficult time, this was rock bottom. But what she didn't know then is that sometimes the lowest point in your life can become your greatest advantage. The spark of an idea. Every great story has a moment of magic. For Joanne Rowling, that moment arrived on a delayed train journey from Manchester to London in 1990. She was stuck, waiting, watching the world go by. It happened. It wasn't a gradual thought. It was a sudden rush, an entire world appearing out of nowhere. A boy with a lightning bolt scar, a school of witchcraft and wizardry, characters with names like Dumbledore. They all came flooding into her mind, fully formed as if they were just waiting to be discovered. She had no working pen. For the next 4 hours, she sat there and simply thought. She built the entire magical universe in her imagination, afraid she might forget a single, precious detail. This idea wasn't just an escape from her reality, it was the beginning of a new one. The wall of rejection. An idea, no matter how magical, is worthless if it stays in your head. So, Joanne began the grueling process of bringing her world to life. She typed out the entire manuscript, page by painful page, often in cafes while her daughter slept beside her. With the manuscript finished, she believed the hardest part was over. She was wrong. The real battle was just beginning. The first rejection letter, then the second, then the third. The reasons varied. It was too long, too slow, or worst of all, it just wasn't right. 4 publishers, 5, 8, 10. Each letter was a new blow to her confidence. Imagine pouring your entire soul into something, only to be told, again and again, that it's not good enough. 12 major publishing houses had rejected Harry Potter. At this point, most people would have quit. They would have stored the manuscript in a dusty attic and accepted defeat. But Joanne's story isn't about giving up. The breakthrough, they say, the darkest hour is just before the dawn. After 12 rejections, the manuscript for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone landed on the desk of an editor at a relatively small publisher in London. Bloomsbury, the editor, Barry Cunningham, wasn't immediately convinced. A long, complex children's fantasy. It was a risk. He decided to take the first chapter home, not for himself but for a secret weapon. The ultimate test audience, his 8-year-old daughter, Alice. He gave her the chapter and simply said, "Tell me what you think." An hour later, Alice came back down from her room with a manuscript. "Can I read the next one?" That was it. That was the moment. It wasn't a marketing team or a sales forecast that gave Harry Potter its chance. It was the genuine, unfiltered delight of one young reader. Bloomsbury offered Joanne a small advance. It wasn't much, but it was more than money. It was a yes. After a year of no's, one yes was all it took to change the world. The lessons and legacy that single yes became a roar that echoed across the globe. The book, rejected by 12 publishers, went on to sell over 500 million copies, becoming the best-selling book series in history. The single mother on welfare became one of the wealthiest authors in the world. But the true legacy of her story isn't the money or the fame. It's the powerful lessons etched into her journey. So, what can we learn from the writer nobody believed in? First, embrace your rock bottom. Failure isn't your final destination. It's a solid foundation to rebuild a stronger you. 2. Rejection is data, not a verdict. A no doesn't mean your dream is worthless. It might just mean you haven't found the right person to say yes yet. 3. Your own belief is your ultimate superpower. When the world doubts you, your unwavering faith in your own story is the only thing that truly matters. J.K. Rowling's story proves that magic is real. It's found in the resilience to keep going after the 12th no, and the courage to hope for that one yes. Now, let me ask you this. What is a dream that you are fighting for? Let me know your story in the comments below. As we close this chapter in our series, I want to send a special shout out to all of you who have been with us from the very beginning. Your support means everything to us. If you're new here, welcome aboard. We've got a ton of exciting adventures planned, including some epic collaborations coming up soon. So don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single moment. Here is a sneak peek of a story we have in the works that I think you will love. See you there.